tough day so far. What do I feel the bad matchups for the deck? I mean, Mono Blue Tron seemed really unwinnable. I don't know. Please don't be Mono Blue. A little too early to tell. Like Niv Mizzet decks are usually always advantaged in fair matchups. I'm gonna shuffle away the Drowned Loch that's on the top of my library. I think we can get a basic island. Might be better to get Breeding Pool. Let's get Breeding Pool. Punished. Why is Mono Blue Tron good? I'm not. It's not. I don't think it's a good deck. It's just like insanely hard for us to beat. You know, you have a bad matchup against it with decks like this. Usually. Looks like Green Tron. You know, Natty Tron. I guess it could be Eldrazi Tron. Sometimes they play one Ulamog. Yeah, sometimes they play Ulamog. Take my Drown. Going all right so far today, Pi. It's been a really weird day. Played against a ton of just bizarre decks. But every day is a good day over here at twitch.tv/aspiringspike. So drawing on top land, we can go Snap Drown the Smasher. Also maybe Bring to Light for Damnation or Valki instead. Take a hit. Yeah, we could play Sunken Hollow here and try to and not have Snap Drown up, but Snap Drown seems best to me. I also think I can take 5. I might. This might be terrible. But it's like if they go Karn, I'm gonna want to go Snap Drown, and then Bring to Light for Valki, exile the Smasher. I think I'm discarding Logic Knot here. Maybe Logic Knot's fine now. Maybe I'll discard Snapcaster? I'll discard Snapcaster. Hopefully we could just put a Valki into play, but I'm not sure what's in my opponent's hand either. Having a hard time getting a read. Having considered not playing against Tron? I'm trying not to. Played against 4th Tron opponent in 8 matches. Although, admittedly, one of them was Super Friends Tron. Why Logic Knot fine versus Cavern? I mean, Logic Knot still counters their Planeswalkers, still counters Ballista. For 2 mana, of course, which is nice. Kind of feels like they're just sandbagging Ballista. There's a Dismember on the top of their library. So let's see what's on the top of mine. Bring to Light. I don't think I could not just jam. Although I would really like them to draw that. Dismember. I think we still have, obviously, just still plus. We attack as well. Okay, I'll see if they're sandbagging something or if they're just super flooded. You can also draw a Force of Negation potentially. Another tower. They've got a spell. Karn with 9, 11, 12 mana, which is exactly enough to kill me with Ballista because they had the 3rd tower. Make sure that they aren't, keep them honest, yeah. Game 2. So I think I am going to bring in Crumble. I don't think it's that good against them, though. I'll bring in the Force. Explosives deals with Chalice. What the Thoughtseize is. They'll play one push, but push is only really good against Thought Not Seer. It's like pretty bad against Chalice too. Yeah, Thoughtseize is good enough to bring in, I think. I think today specifically, Dawn, we have got paired against a really disproportionate amount of Tron opponents. I also don't even, earlier this week it's been just all prowess. Today it's all Tron. There is some degree of unpredictability in Magic the Gathering, of course, because it's a game and people to some degree just play what they want. But I think we are seeing a disproportionate amount of Tron. I don't think it's this popular. All right, I'll draw the Spring to Light. Inron seems to be boarding out Force of Negation targets. Inron. I don't know who Inron is. But I don't know how you could possibly board out Force of Negation targets. Like, Karn, Expedition Map, Chalice are just also important. I mean, also, like, in these matchups, if they just have turn 3 Tron on 7 cards, you usually lose these games. It's not much to do about it. Classic turn 3 Tron Battery Shaper, though. Chalice on 2. Just CMC 4. So we can't drown and can't Thought Scour drown, but we can go counter this. Then next turn, Thought Scour drown can counter Karn or Thought Not Seer, which is probably good enough. Am I gonna drown a Reshaper? Let's see, I guess. If they do nothing, I probably will. That was the power plant we knew about from the Bauble. Yeah, our opponent turned 3 Tron on 7 cards, games 1 and 2, and, we can complain about it, but really this is just part of Magic. Like, in the matchup spread, if you're analyzing everything, you just usually lose these games, And that's okay. Sometimes you lose. I find it suspicious that most times when I queue into a league with a new deck, my opponents are typically my worst matchup with the deck. It's not suspicious. It's some tinfoil hat conspiracy theory stuff. Wizards rigging the queue maker. Confirmation bias. You notice it when it happens. You don't notice it when it doesn't happen. Got liquid metal coating. Can Valki get us out of this? Can exile Matter Reshaper. If we do that, then they can... Was I actually supposed to get Crumble to dust? I don't think so. They'll just Ballista, or I guess they'll get to coating my Tibalts. I think we still do this. Don't think we've got good lines. Just have to get a little lucky. Now they get Needle. Yeah, maybe. But it's also, they already have coding for the Tibalt either way. So if we plus, they just coding the Tibalt. And can you cast Thought Not Seer off of Tibalt? Can you cast Matter Reshaper? You can spend mana as if it were of any color, but this requires colorless. MTGO is bugged. You can. Is MTGO bugged to where you can, or you are? In which way is it bugged? I guess let's find out real quick. Okay, it lets you cast it, but are you just not supposed to be able to cast it? You can, but it's in bugged. In real life, you can't. Okay. Weird. These Valkyries love being in the hand. How's the deck been doing so far today? Medium, I guess. That being said, only for the purpose of evaluating matchups and evaluating the deck, I think we've been getting a little unlucky with our matchup spread specifically. We just put back the 2 Snapcasters, right? Alright, put them all to 6 on the play, able to 5 on the draw, so things are even Stevens now. They're also a Polluted Delta deck. Ooh, Esperka. What's nice here is that Esperka usually doesn't play Teferi the Fun Raveler, which means that it's unlikely my opponents could be able to just, cast Teferi, and then we'll have Archmage Charm up for Jace. Really glad to see them not shock. Like, usually they have so many 3-mana instants. Hopefully they don't fight over this charm. That'd be really good for me. Ka is a Polish suffix of affection, and TSB Yindrik is the, really is the person who popularized the Esper deck. Nassif picked it up a lot too, but Yindrik popularized it, and so kind of as a token of appreciation to Yindrik for making the deck and playing it, people are calling it Esperka. Maybe a Snap Mana Leak. Just another Mana Leak, sure. They only have 3 cards in their hand. If we draw a land, I'm feeling okay. Sad. One nice thing, though, is we've only drawn 1 dead card. A lot of times these matchups, there'll be like a bunch of dead fatal pushes in hands for a while. Oh, man. I'm going to counter this. Just hope they don't have a Planeswalker to tap out for. They only have 2 cards in their hand. They've got the castle. We've got Lurrus, I guess. There's like, so if we let it resolve, they're like a lot more likely to be able to find something to tap out for. Opponent has Esper Charm on top. Not so bad for us, I guess. Not so good. Yeah, them having their castle is also terrible for us. We also mulled the 5 this game, what are you going to do? They draw 2 cards main phase with Esper Charm. We could jam Lurrus. I think when we're as behind as we are, in spots like this, it's good to jam. And even if they tap out for a Planeswalker next turn, it's possible we could still resolve Tibalt and win. Like, and like they've already used 2 Mana Leaks and a Charm, so it's not even... I think it's like kind of likely that Lurrus resolves and gets killed by a removal spell, but we get a 2-for-1 off the Bauble. And like they didn't have a Planeswalker to tap out for earlier. They have gotten to scry and draw since then. Let's see if we find Force off Thought Scour. There's just like a lot of ways that this can go right for us. And again, when you're behind, like we are behind here, I think it's usually good to take the higher risk plays to catch back up rather than just sit back on your Cryptic Commands forever. Like here, my opponent could have just Mana Leaked the Cryptic Command on the Jays, so then maybe we could have untapped and brought to light. They've already used 3 Mana Leaks though. It feels somewhat likely we can resolve Tibalt, or somewhat possible, maybe I should say. Like this could just be them holding up Kaya's Guile or Esper Charm, or a bluff, them shocking. If it does resolve, all of a sudden we're just ahead even. Alright, so we'll play it out. If they counter my next Spring to Light, I'll concede. They should have countered my Tibalt, by the way. Instead of leaving the Tibalts in the deck. Maybe they heard me say that. Be casting Bring to Life for max field to concede heal info. I guess, yeah. Sure. Resolved. They don't have too many ways to actually kill a Tibalt either. Scry 2. This is exciting. So they're going to scry a bad card to the top. That's kind of funny. There were 2 cards on the bottom, though, so their plan failed. The top of their library was too good. maybe they weren't even thinking about the scry to the bottom aspect of things here. You think the Hollow 1 games have been felt so close? Yeah, I think your Hollow 1 deck's fine. Just keep at it, Scotty. So they found it's a fairy. Which feels bad. I could maybe just have tried to... I think I'm just going to try to find my third Bring to Light rather than like draw the Valki again. That way I could have Drown up. Opt for Force. Oh, whoops. Okay. Big whoops. And we can bounce it to Fairy, but just go to game 2. So cut the Fatal Pushes, bring in the third Force, the 2 Thoughtseizes, and the Bloodchief's Thirst, I guess, over Unmoored Ego. Ego's not that good, right? Tomorrow we're playing a Bant Lurrus control deck that's playing Glittering Wish to get the Teferis, which is a cool idea. And then we're playing a Pioneer Delirium aggro deck, and then a Temur Turns deck it's really like a Temur control deck that is just playing Time Warps to like go off with Ren and 6. And there's not that high a cost to playing the Time Warps, so I think that's a cool idea. And there might be one more deck that I'm forgetting. There might not be. Lurrus Turns, kind of cool. I mean, just Lurrus in these decks it's so good because you still get to play 3-4 drops, you know. Yeah, you could also put Lurrus into your hand for 2 mana, which is not nothing. Yeah, this looks pretty good, Scotty. List looks pretty good. We've got 0. You guys see the 0 on the clock here? Okay, weird. Okay, just make sure that we actually got the sideboard, because that was weird. We did, though. Crunching the numbers, my Grixis can actually play my Bring to Life package. Bye, sweetheart. Have a good day. I mean, this is basically that deck, right? It's exactly what this deck is. Yeah, maybe I'll brought back at some point. We'll see. We don't. Did I not cite out the Damnation? Oops. I mean, there's not. It's slim pickings, honestly, here. But yeah, I probably obviously didn't want the Damnation. It seems like maybe my opponent's disconnected because it was like the full time for sideboarding here. Yeah, you can have multiple companions and reveal different ones for different games. I've only seen it ever done once. It was actually like a really cool standard deck that was it was a mono red aggro deck that that played Yorion as a companion, and the idea was that people would keep slow hands game 1, seeing that you were playing Yorion, and then you'd be in a red deck and you'd kill him really quickly, and then game 2 you would side out 14 cards, including an Obosh that was in the main deck. I think Obosh would be your companion for games 2 and 3. Opponent is back. So it was really cool. I don't think that deck was good, but it was awesome. I thought it was very creative. Yeah, I think it was overthinking way too much. I don't think it was like a competitive deck, but I think it was like the idea, at least. I always thought was really interesting. All right, so I'm gonna get the Triome before I Thought Scour, because again, it's really bad if I hit the Triome off the Thought Scour. I've never seen an example of any deck that actually plays multiple companions. That was just like the one example that I've ever seen. That was the closest I've ever seen. I could see an argument for putting Lurrus in our hand here, because it's like, this is sideboard where they do actually have Teferi Time Raveler, but usually Esper doesn't have anything for 3 mana to punish you for, so you can safely put Lurrus in your hand turn 3 on the play. But I think drawing the Charm, I'd rather just Charm EOT anyways. Being on the play, we don't have to go to discard, you know. Or maybe we can go Charm end of turn next turn, since we maybe want them to counter, and so we can untap and bring to light. Although, just like the presence of Force of Negation, I think makes that plan worse. Yeah, here I think we just go Lurrus in hand. Pass. Yeah, I should have played a fetch land. Probably doesn't matter that much. So they tap out for Jace, we can force, and tap out for Bring to Light, which, you know, they could have their own force. That's a sacrifice I'm willing to make. Here, just pass back, I think. Could maybe just play Lurrus as a 3-2. It's better to pass and wait. As anyone suggested playing Colony Heart Expedition, it's kind of interesting. We should try a Naya version of the brought back deck that it did feel a little like too slow and wheel spinny, but it's a good suggestion, I think. Forcing the Charm is pretty important for Snapcaster, and you know, I think it's good to force there. 10 months, Doctor. Welcome back. It's a long time. Yeah, but the brought back deck was a really fun puzzle. I really hope that I can crack the code. I'm gonna Thought Scour myself because we find Bauble. We did find Bauble. Then we get to play Lurrus with Logic Knot up. Although we'll see if there's a top card that we really, really want. Just another Bauble. So I think I'll just get a Island, cast Lurrus. And I'll Logic Knot Cryptic. I don't think I'm going to Logic Knot a 3-mana counterspell. Yeah, or a 2-mana counterspell. I found emotionally I prefer to get blown out in leagues instead of losing a bunch of close matches. How do you feel? I'd rather would play interesting and close games than not interesting games. You can hold priority after activating the expedition to cast brought back. So the 2 lands... Wait, you don't sack as part of the cost for Colony Heart Expedition? Not a very good draw. Let's bubble ourselves. If we see like Archmage's Charm or Snapcaster, we'll just pass. If not, I'm going to go for Bring to Light. Saw an island on top, so let's go Bring to Light. With Logic Knot up. You do, but you cycle priority, get it back when the lands come in. Oh. No. You sack it as part of the cost. But you can bring it back, and then the lands come back too, and you get more counters. It's cute. It's cute for sure. Play with Sun Titan, baby. Whose Archmage's Charm is whose? I guess they're the only ones playing Ops, so this is our Archmage's Charm. How about a Gitrog monster, Reclaimer, Flagstone, brought back deck, maybe Golgari Queen? Well, the problem with... So like there's a million ways you can make value out of brought back, but the problem I've had with the brought back deck is they just spin their wheels and they generate value, but they don't actually like advance the board state well enough. They don't provide a combo or a quick clock, and you just lose to Tron and you lose to aggro decks because you're just spinning your wheels too much. And so more suggestions that just spin your wheels too much don't seem like where you need to be. See if we can find a land off of Opts. Don't think we need this snap. We can go Thought Scour. Yeah, it's bottom. Just didn't let us hold up any more interaction that turn. What about Angels? Good suggestion. What? What about Angels? What about Angels? Yeah, you could maybe be like the green-white Reclaimer deck with brought back. We have literally no good cards to bring in. It's a problem. I don't even want a Spellbomb. Like, I really just want these for Dredge because of Drowned in the Loch. I'll just play a push. Yeah, brought back plus Omnath is pretty good, probably. You decided to watch Queen Gambits because of my Twitch bio. You're halfway through. Wanted to ask if this is supposed to be a meme or what the background story is. It's a meme, but I like the Queen's Gambit. I just mostly, when I was watching it, I just kept bringing it up on stream because I was watching it and thought that was pretty good. I think it's a fine TV show. And so I think someone suggested my bio should be best known for watching Queen's Gambit from start to finish, but I'm not sure if that's actually the lore. They're drawing an Archmage's Charm here. But also like Queen's Gambit, I do think it's a good watch specifically for people who have played a lot of paper Magic tournaments, because there's a lot that reminded me of my experience playing paper Magic tournaments in the show. I might counter their Archmage's Charm. Brought back Wildfire into Nahiri. Just doesn't feel like it's the answer to our problems. No fourth land, sick. Yeah, I definitely like related to aspects of Beth Harmon like being an underdog and nobody really knowing who she is, but being like, you know, an up and comer. At least I felt similarly like at the local level. I related to that aspect of the show. Spoilers, I guess. Not really. I want to stick in black more than I want the Temur Triome here. Maybe I should have just charmed before I fetched, though. Yeah, I forgot about the tranquilizers. Yeah, that wasn't necessarily part of the show that I related to. Alright, they got 2 mana up. I'm going to jam a Bring to Light, and then we have Force for a Planeswalker at their turn into another Bring to Light. Also, maybe next turn go Lurrus plus Bauble as an option. Especially if we feel like they have Force somehow. They need to count, unless this is Mystical Dispute or Dovin's Veto, they should be countering my Valki, not my Bring to Light. Double Mana Leak. And then they've been missing land drops, so if they have Jace in their hand, they're pretty incentivized to just slam it, which we can go Force and then play our own Bring to Light. They did hit the 5th land. They could have a Fun Raveler, or sorry, Hero. So many nicknames for cards. I'm gonna Bauble myself. Sunken Ruins on top. Not super interested in drawing that. Just get a breeding pool. I guess I could get Watery Grave so I can go Lurrus plus Drown. That's actually better next turn. Castle Vantress. I don't really feel like the underdog anymore, but just something I related to when I was getting into competitive Magic. Like I won my first PPTQ I ever played, and then I like went to my first GP on a whim, lost my win in for top 8, so just didn't know anybody. Still kind of feel like I don't sometimes. I think I don't want to like just let them keep castling, especially when like I've got 2 things to tap out for here. Now I'm the overdog. I don't think I've ever heard the term overdog before, but sure. So I think I want a Cryptic back, right? This way next turn I can maybe bring to light with Drown up. Let's see if they have the 3rd mana leak. Which they don't. Awesome. Oh, my opponent did have Revolt. For whatever reason, I was like, did they have Revolt? Okay, they're drawing Mystic Gate here, so we're really ahead of this spot. It's a good draw, too. They only have 2 cards in their hands. We can even go Snap, bring to light next turn. So we can go bring to light with Drown up here. They have to have 2 more counter spells. And even if they do have 2 more counter spells, it's just like they're still pretty behind. I mean, they probably do, I guess, because they didn't have a Planeswalker, they didn't have a land. Just get it out of their hand. Yeah, I'm getting my second shot on Friday. Yes. All right, game over. Yeah, Gust is weird. I mean, they might think I'm heavier on black than I am. But 2 cards on the bottom. Jeskai version of Brought Back with Tribal Flames. I keep starting to build the Jeskai version of Brought Back, and I keep just not getting it together. All right, there's another Aether Gust on top of their library. We're probably supposed to force it. They are not supposed to let me untap here. Although I guess they're like, you know, if I don't have red mana in play. Yeah, they're not supposed to let me untap. There's no way. I'm actually supposed to use not force. I mean, it just doesn't matter for the most part here. Imagine decisions mattering. That's their Flooded Strand, but we actually get to use it here. It's funny. Yeah. Their scry is kind of funny against Tibalt. Obviously, it's losing battle on their part, but funny. Can we keep this on the draw and the blind? Probably not. We have force. We have got 3 looks at a land in our 24 land deck. I'm gonna mulligan though. And it was like maybe close to being close. Brought back Majuka Bog, another modern legal card, yeah. Oh. Uh-oh. River of Tears has been pretty hot and cold today, as it often is. A fickle mistress. Alright, bogging my Bauble. Say that 5 times fast. Yeah, the River of Tears art is really good. That's how people get you baited into playing the card. Ooh, found another Bauble. I guess I'll Bauble now, but it's yeah, seeing exactly Archmage's chart makes me want to Bauble now. But we could have like maybe used we could have maybe like bobbled ourselves and then decided if we wanted to scour ourselves this turn. Brought back Bottle Gnomes, another modern legal card, yeah. The burn sideboard tech, yeah. Seems busted. We did it. We figured out the brought back deck. Oh, also milling over a Valakut is super relevant. It's super relevant to have milled over a Valakut there. Brought back Evolution Leap. Yeah, I don't know if that was you that sent me the list on Twitter, but I remember like seeing that idea and thinking it was fine, and like maybe even one of the better brought back shells. But again, just the issue with these decks is still that they spin their wheels so much and they don't always do anything. Let's mill over the second Valakut. Or maybe it's not that it doesn't do anything. Potentially it's that it does nothing. Brought back Fleshback Marauder. Could you see them complete the River of Tears cycle? I feel like River of Tears is really good as blue-black because like a lot of times these decks will want black on their turn and blue on their opponent's turn, which is kind of the cool thing about the card. I feel like it's the best in this color combination. I'm not sure if I necessarily would advocate it in other color combos. Like, I mean, it would probably be an okay cycle to finish, but with River of Tears being as weird as it is, I kind of like it just being by itself as well. I know a lot of people just want every 2-color combination and every 3-color combination to have equal access to, dual lands and triomes. And I think that that's an okay philosophy to have, but I like it when it's a bit more weird. I think weird is good. Weird is good. Smattering Spike. Oh, yeah, switch up the ordering to have actual 20 combos. Yeah, blue-white Grove with the Burn Willows is, just Tundra. It's just Tundra, which is a pretty bad card. It's pretty safe to put this in the hand. Yeah, Tundra that doesn't get choked or boiled. Actually, strictly better Tundra. Are there untapped typeless duels? I mean, there are some. River of Tears. Sunken Ruins. The Fast Lands are untapped duels conditionally. The check lands, like Drowned Catacombs. Pain lands, yep. What do you think about blue-white Grove the Burn Wells, but instead of an opponent gaining a life, you lose a life when you tap it for colored mana? Seems like a foil of that card would be like $400 for actual no reason. If we cast this, we don't have Cryptic up. Mill over there, Valki. Dude, Thought Scour is nuts in this matchup. So I guess I don't want to bounce draw my Snapcaster and get totally blown out by Lightning Bolt. Yeah, a Darko Waste, like the original foil of that card it's so expensive. It's hundreds of dollars, and I don't know why. I'm sure someone can enlighten me, I guess, but I couldn't tell you. They're drawing their second Valakut. So this version is playing 3. It's good to know. I will have Lurrus be a 4/1. Or 4/0, actually, right? Because you don't have to draw it. Pretty good. All 7th edition foils are expensive. I guess that makes sense. I mean, it does make sense. Not something I was aware of, but checks out. Yeah, Bant Eldrazi on the rise secretly. We know because the foil is spiking in price. What? I didn't know that that was something their deck did. Wait, what? Why did their Valakut still damage? Oh, they still have 5 more mountains? Oh, I see. They just... Wait. 5 other mountains. So I needed to bounce the not steam vents. Ah, whoops. Oops. Huh. I didn't know you had to bounce a different mountain. Learn something new some days, I guess. Alright, gonna jam the Valki, I suppose. Or the Tibalt. Tibalt. The Tibalt I said. Sick. I don't know whose is whose though. I'm assuming the Force is mine. They're going after me. I have the Cling to Dust to maybe gain some life. Thought Scour the mountains right out of their deck. Right out of their deck. Maybe we'll hit an Omnath. Nope. Well, we get to ultimate Valki next, or Tibalt next turn. And play the Omnath from the graveyard. And start getting a ton of life. So they deal 3 to me and 3 to Tibalt. So I guess what we want to do is bounce both Valakuts this turn. Then this turn cycle, I should say. And then that'll just give us a window where my opponent can't actually trigger the Valakuts. And then we can ultimate the Tibalt. Is clean better to... Oh, yeah, sorry. I should have cleaned their Valki. Did win the game, though. So let's bring in the Aether Gusts, the Thoughtseizes, I think. Although our main deck is not bad against them. Like, Fatal Push is actually way better against them than I thought it was previously. Might be able to cut the... Are we not interested in Ego? What do we name with Ego? Crumble seems okay against Valakut. I mean, it's only good if they get Valakut in play first. Also, I mean, another thing here is when you were suggesting cards like Ego, Crumble to Dust. Like, the rest of our deck is really good against them. And, like, Ego is in the Crumble or sorcery speed spells. Like, you can just untap and, like, if you Ego their Valakuts, they can just Tibalt you. And if you Crumble to Dust their Valakuts, they can just Tibalt you too. And it's like if they just play a Valakut, then Ego doesn't do anything. If they don't play out the Valakuts, Crumble doesn't do anything. And the rest of our deck is good against them, just good. So I think I'm just gonna submit this. I think Drowns are good enough without Thought Scours in this matchup too. Or so I'm hoping. Tree Dog, I usually take a look at Decklist for either the 25,000 channel point option or for $5. This is a tough hand. I think that we need to take Veil of Summer and then force their Written 6 and then Valki their Reclaimer. Because if we take Rin and 6, they play Reclaimer, and we just don't have an answer to it. How many channel points for a PlayStation 5? I don't know, but I'm looking for one. Although, maybe I'm not anymore, because... it might mean I might actually be moving. Might have actually found a good place. They drew a Dryad. Do we still take the Reclaimer? The Dryad's not really doing that much. Yeah, Bring to Light Dryad. Mystery card. Wildfire. Mystery card. Good draw. Cycle this. Can steal the Reclaimer next turn. I guess I'll offer the trade. Yeah, I think the trade favors us. Because they don't get their first Reclaimer activation, then they spend the mana to Reclaimer, we just steal it. They decided to take the trade. Their hand is currently Dryad, Bring to Light, Cleansing, Wildfire. And the new Reclaimer, of course. So we'll steal this. Drew a land, and just Bring to Light, Wildfire. Pass it back. You guys want to counter Teferi Time Raveler? What do you think? Worth countering or nah? I'm gonna go ahead and counter it, I think. Close decision. So if I Bring to Light for my Valki, they can Bring to Light for their Valki. Welcome to Modern, I guess. I'm going to hold up Snap Cryptic here. I think I'm also going to leave this back to block. We can fetch and make it a 3-4. Can actually even play Snapcaster and double block. Yeah, good thing we countered Teferi, because now we can cast Bring to Light. The decision ended up working out. Opponent should know better than this. Maybe this is bait, actually. I just can't resist the value. Can also escape Cling to Dust. I guess I actually want Teferi in the graveyard so I can Tibalt it. I want to leave 3 creatures in my graveyard, actually. Or 3 lands in my graveyard, sorry. Weird spot. Maybe I just need to not Cling. Maybe I'll go Snap Cling. No. So we get the first land is free, Thoughtseize, Force of Negation. And then we can exile Archmage's Charm, and I guess just the Valki. Okay, Aether Gust is a good draw. So now we can go Bring to Light 4 Valki with Aether Gust up. Make sure I have a island. Yeah, I guess we can get to the swamp. And I also kind of just like exiling the Dryad. It's like they just have almost nothing going on here, and so exiling it seems pretty safe with the Valakut in play, right? Yeah, but also with the Reclaimer, they could draw Flagstones and then trigger Valakut. So a lot of people suggested to Bring to Light for Crumble to Dust or Unmoored Ego. I don't think it was worth it because if they just don't have Valakut in play, Crumble is really bad. If you get Unmoored Ego, then if they play a Valakut, Unmoored Ego is really bad. And the rest of our deck is really good against them. And so I did like playing a one of those cards over any other card in the deck didn't seem good to me. But it was, one of those classic situations where chat wants you to bring in a card, but, they don't tell you what to take out for it, and I didn't think that there was anything to take out. Don't think I'm playing Dryad. I mean, this game is real over. Don't mean to straw man chat. Days would be bad for us here, huh? Days in Modern, Spike. Let's have Days in Modern. Let's have feel bad moments every single game of every single Modern match for the rest of the time.
What's up? It's me, your friend, Aspiring Spike.
What do I think about moving Monastery into the board? If Fulminator in the main deck brought back. Fulminator feels awkward since we do removal early. Skulls is still great. You could do that maybe. I kind of feel like Mentor is important in the deck, of course, to close out games. So like you could maybe play, like you could maybe cut 2 Monastery Mentors, and then it's possible after that it's good to find some other room for the Fulminators. But playing 0 Monastery Mentors, I'm kind of worried about like not having enough threats. Oboosh! The Prey Piercer. Keep this hand. Would Soul Ring be good in Modern? I don't think so. Be pretty bad. I'm assuming you were here referencing my friend Jalen. This is not Monoredo Bosch. So this could be the Luca deck, right? Let's play around Pillage, I think. If only I could have Fatal Pushed the Utopia Sprawl. I think Utopia Sprawl is quietly one of the best cards in Modern, or maybe not even quietly. Yikes. Alright, let's just get Triome. We have Force of Negation for Blood Moon. Then being able to exile my Bauble stinks here. Maybe I should just cast Valki. They probably have some good stuff over there, huh? Maybe I could copy a Klothys. They do. They have Planesbound Accomplice. Oh, dude, we can't force Magus of the Moon, though. That stinks. What we should have done is force that Utopia Sprawl. Jeez. Hooli, 5 months. Thank you for your resubscription, buddy. Appreciate ya. Maybe lift up fetch land for push here. Bauble biting the dust. Probably not going to turn Valki into Magus. We'll see. We'll see. I don't hate forcing this. Doesn't feel great. Seems okay. Because we have push to deal with like the Luca aspect of their hand. And also the Magus is really hard to beat, so there's that too. I guess we have to push. Oh, they could have just put an Emrakul into play, yeah. Good for us that they didn't, I guess. So they have Luca, Planesbound Accomplice, but they only have and a mystery card. They have to choose. They just discard the comp. I'll take it, I guess. I guess we push this Arbor Elf so that we don't take 4, or is it better to push the Spyro? Maybe pushing Spyro is better because Lurrus actually just is good on a board of all 1/1s. Actually, we have an attack here because we can replay Valki off of Lurrus. Eat that 1/1. Eat both 1/1s. The value. Oh my gosh. This is the worst double block I've seen in a while. This was a good play. I feel like I wouldn't have seen this play every single time. Okay, they're gonna put an Emrakul into play though, but we actually, uh, we actually are okay against that if we can draw exactly Bring to Light or chain some Cryptics together. But also my opponent just like, they had the combo and they could have just gone for it that turn and then Spyro the next turn, but they just discarded it as Spyro, so maybe they just copied the deck without really knowing what's up. So we have 6 outs to Emrakul here. Although Cryptic Command only buys us time, but Bring to Light is good. Alright, I'll Verdant Catacombs the Emrakul. Oh wait, that doesn't do anything, so we'll concede. Yeah, their deck contains no creatures that cost more than 3 mana. They have Obosh in the sideboard, so anytime they Luca minus on a 3-drop, Emrakul enters the chat. Are there any Baron Glory decks in Modern? Dude, I am so tired of playing against Baron Glory. I can't do it again. I always like I queue in with my fun Bring to Light Valki deck, and then my opponent plays Baron Glory. I'm like, what was the point of me spending my afternoon playing Magic the Gathering? I wish I was playing literally any other game when my opponent casts Baron Glory. So please, please spare me. Please. I just have to concede. I don't know. There's just no point in playing against them. Baron Glory is oppressive, yeah. I don't know what Wizards was thinking. It literally says win the game on the card. It says on Baron Glory, win the game. I thought 2-card combos were good, but Baron Glory is literally a 1-card combo. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control no permanents beside other than Baron Glory and have no cards in hand, you win the game. You don't need anything besides Baron Glory to win. It's so unreasonable. And I'm tired of just like playing it cool and pretending like I'm not bothered that Wizards has lost their mind and they're intentionally destroying the game by printing cards like Baron Glory. I'm over it. Always Utopia Sprawl, of course. Although, praise Klothys. Klothys actually can let us turn 4 Bring to Light. Is that the only way we can turn 4 Bring to Light? I guess we can get Pathed. Good draw, opponent. I'll trade here. No, I think playing around push is fine with their hand. So it's kind of funny turning Valki God of Lies into Valki God of Destiny. This is actually very flavorful. We have 4 islands in the deck. Yindrik scammed me into cutting one of the islands, though. I have to exile this. It's bad for us. I guess I could have cycled the Triome, actually. Whatever. Good top deck opponent. You deem 30 channel points for a bad beat story. Okay, one time I was playing against red-green Obosh Pranza, and I Valkied them to try to play around Magus of the Moon. But unfortunately, they drew Magus of the Moon immediately. Then I didn't draw an island. I lost. Keep this against Lurrus, I guess. Red Green Ponza is top tier in popularity. Yeah, but the Luca version is not very popular. Right. And it's not like just that deck. That deck was maybe the 5th weirdest deck we've seen today. We played against Mono Green, or I guess not Mono Green, but Super Friends Tron, Torrential Gearhulk Magma Opus 4-color mid-range. Mono Blue Tron twice. I will not play Grixis today, no. I'm working on this version that I think is much better, actually, than the Grixis deck. Maybe not much better, but I think this deck's better. It's been a weird day, though. Maybe the Luca deck was the 4th weirdest deck we've seen today. But I feel like there was another really weird deck that I'm forgetting about. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it was just the Mono Blue Tron twice. They took the Bauble? Does that make sense? I'll force a Thoughtseize, I think. I do feel like Jeskai Soulhit is positioned right now compared to this. I think I felt pretty good yesterday. I also can't tell you how well this deck is positioned because we're largely playing against nonsense, you know. But I think this deck is good. It's like, oh no, I've got a bad Mono Blue Tron matchup. Oh no. I mean, maybe me having a bad Ponza matchup is a big problem. Why aren't you playing Ice Fang in this deck? You'll have to bring to light for 2 colors, so it's not like you can't fetch no basics. Well, good question. If you look at the mana base, however, in this deck, we don't actually need green mana before turn 5, so not having to fetch up... Sorry, thinking. Not having to fetch ice green early is really nice in your deck that has like a lot of early blue and black spells. It does make the mana base easier. I also don't think that Ice Fang is super well positioned in the Lava Dart metagame. I think it's a fine card, but I'm not super high on it at the moment. But also you could maybe suggest what you think I should be playing in Ice Fang instead of, because if you play Ice Fang and Bring to Light, your interactive plan gets a bit worse. You could maybe play Ice Fang instead of Thought Scour and play Mana Leak instead of Drowned Loch, but I think Drowned Loch is good in this Prowess metagame. But also, I might just be totally out of touch because we haven't played against Prowess once yet. But I don't only have Bring to Light for 2 colors also. Like, we have set it up where we can Bring to Light for 4 to get Damnation. Okay, no Bring to Light for Tibalt this game. It's an interesting draw, though. Because we can snag the Lurrus from their hand. Can snag the Lurrus from their hand and die to them having a removal spell. I feel like we draw both Valkis literally every game. A pretty disproportionate amount of games, yeah. Maybe. You cut the main deck Damnation. Probably not great terms from numbers. Yeah. Yeah, I think the Damnation is really important to be able to Bring to Light for. So here we're going to go tap draw. This way my opponent, if they play Lurrus, they just play into the Damnation. That being said, they do know about the Damnation. This kind of buys us a turn. Yeah, game 1, match 1 of today. Me, Aspiring Spike, so excited to play my cool new deck list. I think is really good. I hyped it up on Twitter this morning. My entire life is building decks and building competitive decks, and I felt like I'm in a bit of a slump, and boy, I feel like I built the best deck I've built in weeks. And I woke up early today, so excited to play this, so excited to show it to everybody. Match 1, game 1. I Thought Scour targeting myself in a spot where I just wanted to avoid milling over more Seasoned Pyromancers with Thought Scour against Ponza. And I Thought Scour myself, and I hit both Valkis. Match 1, game 1. And then the Twitch chat immediately is like, oh, this deck, there's something here, but I don't know. I think we're not playing enough Valkis, Spike. I think we're not playing enough Valkis. Do you think that maybe we should be Bring to Light different targets? Is there something else besides Valky we can Bring to Light for? It was terrible. It was a miserable start to the day. But now we can Thought Scour ourselves. We find Snapcaster, Snap Damnation. The Shadow's just a 2/2. See if we can find a removal spell off the Bauble. I think they're going to kill my Lurrus. If we don't see one, we can just play Valki from the hand, which stinks because I'd much rather cast it as Tibalt next turn. Maybe I could have played my land. They probably have a removal spell, but they kind of have to have 2 here. Alright, so my top card is Snow-Covered Island, which I shuffle away, getting a Sunken Hollow. And then here, we can play Valki, which means that if we don't draw Fatal Push, we off the Bauble we can draw Archmage's Charm, Snapcaster Mage, Fatal Push, Thought Scour into Drowned Loch, or Thought Scour into these cards. Or we can just play Valki as a chump blocker and try to draw like Snapcaster for Damnation next turn. But I think I'm just going to take the draw off the Bauble, try to draw, again, Snapcaster, Charm, Fatal Push, Drowned Loch to survive, and then maybe hardcast Tibalt and exile their other threat next turn. Yeah, I think that this was the better chance to win. Like, if we were drawing a brick off the Bauble anyways, like, are we winning this game? Probably not. Feels bad. This is my sideboard plan, though. I think we have a good matchup. I think we played well, too. I think that Cryptic tap line was really good. Just make them play into the Damnation. Yeah, Bring to Light lets you cast Tibalt. That's the whole idea behind the deck. Bring to Light would be really bad if you couldn't. We tried Release to the Winds with Valki, and we went 0-4 for a Dono deck. Did not seem very good. Especially because it's like, that costs 5 mana. Yes, you can do it on turn 3 and lose to any removal spell ever printed. Or you could just do it for 5 mana with 1 card instead of 2 cards, you know? And not get blown up by Lightning Bolt, Lava Dart, Fatal Push. Admiral Rick, thank you for a tier 1 subscription. Appreciate ya. Do you think there's a little tension in the deck with Bring to Light being expensive and proactive and the rest of the deck being very reactive? You could think about it like that, and maybe there is some. However, I would instead like look at this deck like a traditional, like look at this like Esper control. Look at this like blue-white control that's playing a completely reactive deck and then plays Jace the Mind Sculptor or Teferi, Hero of Dominaria. Except instead Jace the Mind Sculptor, Teferi, Hero of Dominaria, you're playing a better card. Tibalt for 5 mana is better than Teferi Hero. It's better than Jace the Mind Sculptor. Which is great. Right? And so look at it like that instead. But you could also I understand your thought process, and I don't think that you're completely wrong, but that's at least the way I'm looking at it. Snow-Covered Islands, shuffle. Opponent kept a 1-lander. See if they have another discard spell for Lurrus. They don't. I think I'm just going to play Lurrus. Good keep, opponent. Yeah, and in this deck, you also get to play Lurrus. And Lurrus as a companion is one of the best things you can do in Modern, period. If you can have Lurrus as a companion with Baubles and other good cards to play off of it, like Snapcaster, it is one of the best things you could possibly be doing in this format. And so this deck gets to be doing both things. This deck gets to play Bring to Light for Valki and Lurrus as a companion, and gets to play, you know, whatever control suite in Sultai that it wants to, which, in my opinion, is great. And we have, it hasn't been like the best showing for the deck today, but I also like, at least as far as deck analysis goes, I think we've gotten a little unlucky. I think the deck has been feeling strong, and we're losing to decks like Mono Blue Tron, you know, that just like seems like just an abysmal matchup. I could be wrong, but this is at least my opinion on the deck and where it sits in the metagame and all that nonsense. They have a Fatal Push on top. Probably the worst draw in their deck here. Just want to snap Cryptic. Could bounce Snapcaster here, but we already have another one in our hand, and I just want to draw Bring to Light or Tibalt. Can hardcast Tibalt. Which is also nice that, like, this happens a decent amount of the time. It's obviously not your plan A. And that is the downside to this deck, right? Is you do just have 2 Tibalts that are really mediocre when you're not bringing to light for them. Is Frostbite better than Scred? In this metagame, yeah, we're killing Lumimancer and Monastery Swiftspear is so important, and Scred doesn't do that until turn 2. And, like, even then, like, doesn't always kill Swiftspear because they can respond with something. I don't know. I mean, I guess Frostbolt Bite's kind of the same thing. Alright, game 3. Have to be on the draw for this one. Also, like in the Teamer control decks that I usually play one Frostbite in, that deck does not play all Snow Duels. And every time I play one Frostbite, there's usually like 3 people like, just why are you playing Frostbite instead of Scred? But Scred is like way worse when you're not all mountains. Sounds pretty good. I'm gonna put back the Gust, I guess. Yeah, Abundant Harvest. I've heard a lot of people from Historic hyping it up. I do think the card is good. How good is I haven't cast it yet. I guess I should probably watch Croaky's more and just see how good it looks over there. Like I do like it a lot in like the Arcanist decks. But I do agree that Abundant Harvest is a good Magic card. Well, I just haven't had the luxury of casting it yet. And Zid has been playing with it in Legacy. That's cool. I didn't realize it was legal in Legacy. Valki, God of Lies on top. Oh, I didn't know that Enzid played any Historic. I've never seen him not playing Legacy. That's cool though. It's good for people to branch out. Yeah, I actually don't know if that card's legal in Legacy. It probably is, but it's weird, right? Like it's so weird that they printed Abundant Harvest when they did. They must like really, really be confident in that card, I guess. Why wouldn't it be legal in Legacy? I mean, it's really weird, right? I mean, I'm sure it wouldn't make any sense for it to not be, but Abundant Harvest is one of the weirdest cards ever. Just being like how it was printed, you know. All right, my opponent definitely has Veil of Summer, but I'm gonna walk into it, I guess. Yeah, I mean, there's just not much to do here. Besides just have to walk into it, I think. But that was a pretty obvious Veil, I guess. We also don't have enough black mana to go Lurrus push next turn. We can still draw a black source to do so. I don't know why their Cryptic Command costs 1 mana. Mine costs 4. Okay, so we can go Gust Goyf, push Scourge. I think I'll start off with just pushing Scourge. If they have another Veil, we can Gust it. Do this in their upkeep. Am I okay with them drawing Goyf? I think I'd rather wait. River gives me black. Yeah, but Teamer Triome does not. Gust in response to fetch. I think we'll discuss before attacks now that they haven't fetched. But I think just trying to play around a second Veil is like better than any other thing we could have done this turn cycle. How often does this stream top 800 viewers? This is the first time actually. Kind of peeing my pants a little bit, but we'll see how it goes. Pee in my pants, 800 viewers. Ah! Alright, I'm gonna minus my Tibalt here. Please no second Veil. You can bolt my Tibalt, it's fine. Yeah, it's fine. Spent 1100 before. You're thinking of a different stream, I think. Not here. They didn't put Lurrus in their hand, which is pretty scary. Hopefully they just forgot about it. Now you can't play the Tibalt side off of Lurrus, no, sadly. Alright, hopefully they don't play Lurrus right now. Dang it. What? Opponent heard my wish, I guess. That's nice. Why Lurrus Bauble instead of playing the 11-11? I mean, I think Lurrus Bauble is better than the 11-11. It's also like only an 11-11 if I deal myself some damage. Opponent's last card is just Lurrus. I mean, I'm just gonna, you know, fetch shock and attack for 8. Make them chump block. Not expose myself to them drawing into a fatal push off of Peatland. Yeah, I know we can go for the kill, but like the only way we ever, I guess we even have Archmage's Charm for fatal push. We should have gone for it, but we also can like just never lose if we hold up the counter spells, so this doesn't matter. I guess they could have decay actually. We after we drew the charm, we were supposed to go tap draw, and then never lose. And we saw that they did leave fatal push in post board last. Right? So 2 3-2s in a row. If I start this league, this